This is my online module in action. It was created in D2L or eClass, which is the program Gwinnett uses, the same as we use at KSU. And it's been really encouraged, especially for elementary school students, because it promotes a safe atmosphere. Everything can be checked and monitored, and very limited and very guided in what they're able to do. So that's where I've created my content, and I would like to take you through it. So I'm in the content tab, and it's under mathematics. So the kids would click that, and then it's a fractions unit, and it's about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So the module contents as aligned to the AKS and the I can statements, or what the learner will be able to do, are at the top of the module and are there at all times. Before the students can get started, they would go to their prerequisite. It says 33% done because for some reason ClassWorks just automatically checks off. I'm doing this as a student, but this would not be, the students would not be able to see this the first time they log on. So they would have to click prereqs, and they would need to check off that they can do all of these things before they can get started. So they would go through and they would check off the list. And that also holds them accountable. Successful completion of the adding and subtraction fractions module, which would be the previous module, 4th grade reading skills, and 4th grade math fact skills. So they would go through that, and they've completed, well done, you completed this checklist, directions for the checklist, and then they would go back to the module. And once they've done that, their learning activities checklist would come up. So this keeps them on track through the week, because this is a fully online module of what they need to do. So they know they've done the prereq checklist, so now they would go to watch improper and mixed numbers video. So they would go back, and now this is populated because they finished it. So these videos are in English and in Spanish. It's a resource that Gwinnett County has called Safari Montage. It's really, really excellent. So I'm just going to play a real quick clip of one of these videos so that you guys can sort of see without violating any copyright agreements. So just real quick as the information loads. And you can click English, or you can click Spanish, which is really, really great because the majority of my students are Spanish speaking. So again, it's a great, great resource that we have access to at Gwinnett. So I'm going to go back to the module. So once I finish that, I would check it off. So, and they can see the little checks, but having to click this just keeps them, again, more accountable. So they would go back, and now that they've done that, their math resources have, their online textbook has populated. So this is our online textbook that they'll be using. So they can click, and it's going to take them to different resources within the textbook, and different lesson resources in Spanish and in English. Interactive tools that they can use, as well as actual videos with the lesson. So, and that's specific to the content that they'll be using, and they have access to that. When they get done, within their resources page, they have the assignment of uploading 10 problems of the addition of mixed numbers and 10 problems of subtracting mixed numbers for 20 problems total. So they can choose any resource within the physical book, which they'll have a copy of, or from the digital copy of the textbook. So they can do a screenshot if they're annotating using a touch screen, or they can actually take photos of their physical textbook. So, and they can pick any 10 problems they want. So most of the time in 4th grade, students are pretty good about picking problems that they will be successful with. At least my experience of that has been. So I'm giving them the option of the types of problems they want to work out at this point after having, access the online resources as well as the videos so far. So once they upload something, they're able to go on to the next amount of content. So I'm just gonna upload something just to get that done. So just submit to Dropbox. I'm not even sure 100% what I'm uploading. So they would go back to the main module, and once they've done that, there's a tutorial and helpful links. And again, this is all, they're being guided by their checklist. So I'm not going to refer back to that all the time, but they're constantly, going and making sure that they've done, the different things on the checklist. It tells them how close they are to being complete. And this doesn't expand as they go on like the content does. So they know up front they have 11 items that they have to do by the end of the week. So, that's not a surprise. They just can't access it until they've done what they need to do. So the tutorials and helpful links, it's basically a choice board that I created with different resources. So the kids can pick. Some kids really like Khan Academy. Some kids really like Learn Zillion. There's also practice with the math games. So they choose different resources to access, and then when they get done, they go back and there is an assignment for them to do. So they have a discussion post where they share one strategy they found helpful, and they create their own problem and use the strategy to solve it. So they might use number lines, they might use by drawing models, and I ask them to include a photo or a video of the work or strategy and explain it in text. So that they're higher order thinking. For students who, like to be on camera, that's an opportunity for them to do that. And for students who are more shy, they can take pictures of their work and do that. So, they'd have to write a discussion. So I've got to do that so you can. So back to the original module. So then there's also a Classworks activity, and that's a program also that Gwinnett has that they have access to. So this is the teacher version, but I see what they've done when they submitted it and their score. So it's kind of a module within the module. So just checking to see how they're doing and where they're at within the class. So a way for me to have a formative assessment ongoing. Then the last thing is the constructed response. Or it's not the last thing, the second to last thing. And this is for a grade, and it is listed at the top as one of the I can or the learner will be able to do statements. I've included 2 rubrics, so the students know what they need to do to get a strong score. They know what their discussions need to be like, and they know how they'll be scored. Also, the race strategy, that's, restate, answer, cite, and explain. And they would know at this point in the school year that cite means to use their mathematics vocabulary, what strategy they're doing, and explain then why they're doing it. So I gave them a word problem, and they have to explain and then respond to their peers. So when they finish doing this, they'll go back to their fractions, and they can see they're really close to being done. But before they can take the test, they have to have completed all of the learning activities checklist. So they would have to choose 5 websites from the tutorial and helpful link page to visit. So they're responsible for doing that. Respond to the tutorial discussion. Meet with the teacher via video conference or phone call. So this keeps them accountable because it's not one of the things in the module. This makes sure that at this point in the week they've contacted me so that we can assess where they're at, what they need additional help with, and so on and so forth. They would complete the classworks activity and complete the constructed response discussion. So the last thing is the assessment. So when they've done everything else on the list, 90% done, they can go back and the assessment will have populated. So you know, they start this, they know that they get one time allowed, it automatically gives them their grade, and then they're done with the unit. So that's the unit that I developed based on my plans for this class. I'm actually really excited about using it in my classroom. I'm excited about all the resources, you know, to help kids out. Different kids learn in different ways, and different videos or different resources might, you know, appeal to some kids more than others. Some kids might really, really enjoy, you know, doing things like this and really thinking about just quick, like practicing doing adding mixed numbers, while other kids would benefit more from, you know, watching a video, seeing somebody else explain it in a different way. So I really am excited about this module. I'm excited about what it has in it, and I'm excited to see how it pans out next year with my students. So that's what I've done. Again, the objectives, what the kids will be able to do, the quiz, 80% accuracy is the goal, as well as on the rubric for the discussion, 80% quality. So they know at the beginning their major grades, and then obviously the participation and the completion of the content. So this is my module. I tried to allow for differentiation with the choice board, with the Spanish speaking videos, with allowing them to have free choice when it comes to the My Math textbook, whether it's online or on the computer, as well as which problems they want to submit. They'll work together on the multiple discussions. And then within that, I can create groups depending on how the learning goes and if that's necessary or not. So this is my module. If you have any questions or would like to see something further or more in depth, and I'm able to do that, please let me know because I can't open this up to everyone. All right, thank you.